What is up, guys? JR Juggernaut1 here, back from my vacation. I'm pretty much just here to make two vids right now, and kind of a further discussion will be done later on. I want to talk about first, in this vid, the hero deck that I ran for the two locals I went to while I was home. Couldn't do more because I was busy, because I had to put my work first, of course, and I'm going to profile that. Next, I'm going to talk about YCS Dallas. And I'm also gonna kind of basically apologize for something that happened today. It's something I don't want to really talk about in this vid, but it's something that I kind of feel a need to talk about in a video. So I will get to that. But all I will say is it has to do with Nizar Sarhan, and that's all I'm gonna leave it at. So I'm just gonna get to the deck. I ended up going 2-2 at the first local. I changed 2 cards at the second local of this deck, and then I ended up splitting in the finals of that local, which was not as competitive. It was smaller, but I was happy to at least do well at one of these. I did get fairly lucky at the second local. I wouldn't say extremely lucky. I think it was just that I drew I drew cards that were good, but it very much helped that I had that it gave me just a very advantageous matchup to my opponents. So it really worked out in my favor for that reason. I think I only ended up losing. I only ended up losing one game out of the first 3 matches I played. It was went 3-0 in Swiss, and then ended up winning top 8, top 4, splitting top 2. But yeah, I don't want to waste too much time. I'll get to the deck. The side deck, I will just say now, and I will say this again as I get to it, is not how I would play, what I would play at a regional or at a YCS or anything like that. If I if I went to the Kings Games regional that happened today, I would have definitely picked up some cards for the side deck. Otherwise, they're just cards I'm going to have to pick up at a later point. So yeah, it's basic skill drain heroes. This is very much like Jojo Orlando's build. It's very much based on it, but I will say my original build I had for this format wasn't too much different from his. I took out a lot of cards I basically took out from the first, and I ran like one or two more monsters than he did, and I just cut them down because I realized you didn't need a ton. Just because you have the search power, you have cards that create monsters like Miracle Fusion. It was just like, I liked the logic behind it. It did give the deck more consistency, and it also allowed the deck to be a bit more trap heavy and more defensive, which I liked. I just like this a lot more than Bubble Beat because I think Bubble Beat's too combo heavy and it leaves a lot of annoying hands. But I will explain a few tech choices from this deck. So okay, I think this is like a 2 or 3 card difference from his deck. I'm not sure. But so 1 Stratos, triple Alias. That's the standard hero lineup. Not much else to say about that. Double Thunder King. I really do like this card in spite of the fact that it's not as good as it used to be. I did run 3 of these at the first local, but then my friend suggested I cut one, and I did, and I made room for another monster, which is the 10th monster in this list. It's basically the monster line was almost the same, just one additional monster, but I will get to that. 2 Barbaros, same logic. I mean, they're both, the Thunder King and Barbaros are just very good. Barbaros is amazing under skill drain. I know some people are kind of like, well, he sucks if you don't have skill drain out. No, I think a 1900 beat stick is good. And with skill drain out, I feel like he just wins games for the fact that he's a big beat stick your opponent has a lot of trouble getting over. He would have probably been better. He was probably better last format, just because there were less back row heavy decks around. But either way, good card. 1 Evocator Chevalier. I run him over Crusader because 1, I don't have a Crusader. 2, this guy is searchable by Rhoda, and 3, I personally do want to have access to Nova Master in my deck, even if because I think there are enough targets for Shining. And the last card, which should have been with all the other heroes, but whatever, is Tech Bubble Man. I did like this card. I really did genuinely like it because it gave me access to Absolute Zero, and I really love Absolute Zero just as a card. I don't like that I because of the way my side deck was poorly built, I did not have any way to make him aside from Bubble Man, so Bubble Man made this a lot easier to make, and I was very happy about that. It's just playing him at times made me realize why I don't like Bubble Beat. It's simply for the fact that he either gets stuck in your hand and there's nothing you can do with him, or yeah, that's usually kind of the situation. But at the same time, he does make a lot of awesome plays happen, so I did like that. And he's another, he gives me a 5th target for, like, you know, E-Call, Rhoda, that kind of thing. And then, oh yeah, that's the monsters. Spells, 2 Rhoda, 2 E-Call, 1 Rhoda, 2 E-Call, excuse me, I can't speak tonight. Standard, I didn't want to run any more than that, even with Bubble Man as another hero. Triple Gemini Spark, standard. This card is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best +1s in the game, in my opinion. Triple Duality, I mean, what else is there really to say? This card is awesome. Unlike Tour Guide, I'm really happy they actually made Pot of Duality. At first, I was a skeptic, but honestly, it's a really enjoyable card to play, and I really love that it can give decks consistency. I just think Tour Guide is overpowered and should be hit on the ban list. Pot of Duality, not so much, but that's something I could talk about in another vid. Triple Miracle Fusion. I was very unsure if I was going to actually do 3 or 2 or 3. I ended up choosing 3 mainly, especially after I added Bubble Man, because then I felt this card was going to be more live more often. So I liked that aspect of it. You do want to have Miracle Fusion more often than not. I just was very iffy with the only 9 monsters, with playing 3 with only 9 monsters. So I feel more comfortable playing it with Bubble Man in it, honestly. And then just, you know, staples, Reborn, Dark Hole, Book of Moon. This was my major tech. 1 Smashing Ground. This card was actually amazing at both tournaments. It just puts in a lot of work, because this does you very well against Rabbit and Dark World, which Dark World's obviously a bad matchup. Rabbit, it's not necessarily the best matchup, but it makes the matchup a lot easier, and I really liked it. I just kind of felt like, you know, it's almost like a 4th Miracle Fusion. It does exactly what you want Miracle Fusion to do, which is clear your opponent's board. And yeah, it's not. It's just a more effective way to do it, and a more reliable way of getting rid of them. So yeah, those are the spells. Moving on to traps. 2 skill drains. This was mainly for testing purposes. I could have played 3, but I actually wanted to see how 2 worked. Probably going to bump it up to 3 simply for the fact that I wanted to draw this card in many different situations, and I didn't. It's annoying kind of having that problem. So I could definitely see myself bringing it back up. It's more testing is needed, but who knows how much longer I'm actually going to test this deck. I'm not a fan of how popular heroes are getting. I'm not a fan of running the popular deck, because I'm not a fan of mirror matches. In many different... Heroes are an exception. Heroes, usually the better player wins, but in many different mirror match scenarios, it's going to come down to who opens better, who makes a certain play first. I don't like that. But we're moving on. Double Torrential, standard. I do like this in this deck, because you're going to have a clear board sometimes, and it's good to have this as backup. Double D Prison, really like this. 1-for-1 removal is nice. That banishes, it's nice. It's also very good when you have Skill Drain out, because you know this card is most likely going to stay on the field for that reason. Double Warning, if you don't play this card, I don't know what to tell you. Even if I was playing 3 Skill Drains, I would play 2 Warning. The card is absolutely nuts. But so is this card, 2 Hero Blasts. Stupid card. This card wins games. Nothing else really to say about it. If we do actually lose Ignition Priority, this card is going to be one of the reasons why heroes are tier 1. This card and Gemini Spark, they are the perfect disruption cards in that type of format. So yeah, keep that in mind. Double Dark Bribe. I love this card. I used to hate this card. Then I started to like this card. Now I love this card. When I originally ran this in Heroes, as I told you could see, check back an earlier regional report, I hated this card. I played this at a regional, and the whole time I wished it had been a second 7 Tools of the Bandit instead of Dark Bribe. This has changed not simply because of Heavy Storm being around, but because of how awesome it is to have it to protect your skill drains. Just being able to set your back rows confidently and knowing you can use this on whether it's Heavy Storm or whatever spell or trap they have, that's awesome. the draw they get usually doesn't mean anything, so it's okay. One Solemn Judgment, simple, and then one Starlight Road because it's awesome. Just to mention a few cards I didn't run and why. I did not run Heavy Storm as much as a lot of people are saying you should run it because it wins games on their own, and it's a great surprise card. I personally do not like Heavy Storm for the fact that I do not like a card that's only going to be effective for me if I draw it in one of the first 2 turns of the game. That's it. I don't like that it's a card I have to open with, and if I summon a hero and I don't set any back row, my opponent's likely going to assume I have Heavy Storm at that point, so I don't, yeah, it's just a problem in that respect. I also didn't run Mirror Force because as good removal as that is, I thought there were better removal cards to play, hence why I was like, okay, I'll run the Smashing Ground. I think those are the only 2 cards I'm missing. I do really genuinely like this deck. Again, not sure if I'm going to stick with it, but we'll see. Just guess extra deck quickly. Tornado, Zero, Gaia, Chimera Tag, Draco Knight, didn't make him. Adoration, he could easily be replaced. Nova Master, Shining, Zero, Blade Armor Ninja, second Nova Master in case I play Rabbit, Utopia, Stardust. Sorry for how long this video is going, but that's just, that's just how my vids go sometimes. I apologize. Side deck quickly. Double MST for just, I don't know, just decks where they side Decree, I suppose. One Smashing Ground, just because I side the second. Heavy Storm, I actually decided to side this, and it worked out beautifully. I ended up siding it in twice, once against a Watt deck, and once against my friend's Chainburn deck, because I knew I pretty much had nothing to lose, even though all those cards are chainable. This card is amazing when you open with it, and that's what I ended up doing one of the games. Double Doom Cal. This was just a random card I threw in. I only sided it once, and that was against Chainburn. That was it. One Chain D. I think I only side this against Watts. It's mainly for that and Sectors. I think that's it. Yeah, something like that. Mind Control. I was gonna side this against any deck I play a lot of level 4s. There wasn't really a deck though that I felt that confidently siding this in against. So, yeah. Double Shadow Mirror. Sectors and Dark Worlds. I hate them with a fiery passion. So yeah, these are my friends though. I have to give them back to them, but I will pick up 2 for myself. Double Sidras because I just wanted this for rogue decks, and it's actually very good, just in general. I didn't feel like it made sense to side Photon Thrasher. I just thought it made more sense to side in this, and know I could at least have this for windups. And then the double Super Poly because it's freaking Super Poly. What else do you need to know? So yeah, that's the deck and the Kai's token. There's also the Cordero token, but he's not here right now. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed. Pretty much, I'm going to have a YCS Dallas discussion probably up after this. I got to finish unpacking first. So, hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment if you like this deck. If you're going to call me a net decker, I'll either block you or ignore your comment, because again, I made it clear this is very much based on Joe Gerlando's deck. And see you guys.